So here's my update on where I'm at on wholesaling. So I had spoken with a gentleman about his house, and he was saying that he felt like, you know, like he'd be willing to sell for $380,000 to $400,000, which is probably the ARV right there. ARV is going to be in that. And his house apparently didn't need any repairs. So where does that put me? Well, I still wanted to make an offer on it. So I told him, well, tell you, I can probably come up, I can make you an offer on it, but it's not going to be your number. If you're interested in that, I can come up with a number. And he said he was interested in that. So I called him yesterday. I had my number in mind. I figured $300,000. At $300,000, I'm at about 70% of the ARV, right? Well, maybe above that, because $400,000, 70% would be $280. But the house doesn't need anything, and I'm thinking, well, at $300,000, if ARV is $380,000, $400,000, I could have a $20,000 assignment fee on there, and I'm pretty sure I could have somebody purchase it from me. So I offered him that number, $300,000, and of course he said no go. And we ended the conversation well. I did make a point of calling him, not texting him, because I did want to have the conversation. I wanted that interaction, more for me than for him. My thought is, the more I interact with people, the better I'll be about presenting and speaking with them. And we ended the conversation on there, I felt, was a good note. I told him, like, well, you know, or maybe I should back up. How I presented the $300,000, because I was thinking there's a low chance that he'll accept this, but that's okay. I need to make the number work for me. So I started out by telling him, so, well, you know, quick hello, just how's your day going? And I just got into it. I said, well, you know, I talked to my partner, and we went over the numbers of where we need to be, and you understand what we do, right? Because I explained to him on our first conversation. And I said, in order for the numbers to work on our end, so I'm not critiquing the property or his number, I'm just saying we need to be at $300,000. Of course, he told me, well, yeah, that's not going to work for me. And I told him, so, you know, and even before I said that, I said, you know, so I have a number for you, and the number I know is not going to make you happy. So if you want to, I'll tell you my number. If you don't want to hear it, I won't. So I basically set him up to where he's asking me to give him my number. And that's one of the things I'm working on these conversations. I know what I want to say, but I'm trying to ask questions to where, in essence, they're telling me to tell them what I want to say to them. And it's just all about trying to just have a more of a fluid conversation, not so salesy. So, you know, of course, that number didn't work for him. And I said, well, you know, I totally understand that. Of course, if things change on your end, you let me know. Also, if you come across anybody who you think could use our services, and again, before I said that, I reminded what I do. It's like, use of the properties that I'm looking for are fixer-uppers. They usually need repairs, and that's called value add, because I come in and I take care of those issues. So at the end of the conversation, I said, so if you come across anybody who you think could use or wants to sell a house and you think might be a fit for what we do, I'd appreciate it if you passed on my name and number to them. And he said, definitely. And so, again, to me, even though I didn't get the deal, it's a win. It's a win because I made an offer. You want to make offers. It's a win because I'm interacting. It's a win because I'm taking action. And I think the win of actually getting the deal, that's a fantastic win. But that win takes many small wins to get to the big win. So my focus is the small wins. Am I cold calling? Am I making my list? Am I doing mailers? Am I sending texts? Am I having conversations with property owners? What am I saying? How am I presenting the information? Those are my wins for me, because ultimately, if I talk to enough people, have enough conversations, I will get a deal. And the number of people I need to talk to, the number of conversations that I need to have, that's going to be more dependent on the way I'm presenting it. Well, that's the skill set. And so the more I do it, the quicker my skill set builds. That's where I'm at. Been tired the last couple of days. Haven't worked on it very much. I did do an email campaign. I checked it. It sent out a total. This is through PropStream. You can do an email campaign, which is really cool because you already skip trace these people. You have emails, and so it sent out, I think, 549 emails. I looked it up. Nobody clicked through and went to my landing page, which, by the way, you set that up through PropStream again. Used it for the first time. I thought it was fairly easy to use. I mean, now that I did it, now I know how to do it. So I did that. I followed up with this guy, and that's pretty much all I've done the last 2 days. Not a lot of activity on my side. So just long days, tired at the end of the day, trying to get my workout in. At the end of working out, I just go home, have dinner, and I'm tired. And I think it's okay to have days like that. You just don't want a lot of days like that. So today I plan on working on my list. I want to play more with the search and filter options on PropStream. And then tomorrow I actually plan on doing I plan on doing 3 hours of cold calling. But I don't want to just cold call anything. So on PropStream you can filter for a lot of stuff. You can filter for, of course, the amount of equity property owner has. You can filter for the whether it's a pre-foreclosure. That's actually a list I want to work on. Texas being a little different because here we do foreclosures on the first Tuesday of every month. And if these properties, per a video from PropStream, if the properties are still showing up on there, it means they haven't been foreclosed on, which is possible. It could be a number of things that cause that. It could be a person filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy or divorce, or they got an attorney involved for something. You never know. That stopped the foreclosure. So I want to follow up with that. The other ones, of course, failed MLS listings. That'd be another option. Vacant properties. So there's a lot of lists you can run, and you can also, quote unquote, stack your list, right? So you have several filters going and you get a smaller list. So for tomorrow, I just want my list that I call, because my focus was code enforcement, and I still have a big list on that to call. I've done mailers to, not all of it, most of it. I just want tomorrow to be productive. I want to be people who there's a good chance they'll be motivated to sell, because ultimately that's what I'm looking for. Anyways, that's my update, and I hope whoever's watching this, I gotta think like 2 views on the videos I posted. I hope you find this helpful, and I find it helpful. I know I'm kind of talking to myself, but maybe at one point I'll look at this video and I have 1,000 views, and somebody will be like, "Oh wow, that's really good. Thanks for the encouragement." So what I'm hoping is that, what my plan is, that when I get my first deal, I'm going to record myself and a copy of that check, because the proof of concept, that's the battle thing for all of us as we're learning this, right? I think and it goes back to why we need the small wins, because the proof of concept, that's the big win. That's a big one, guys. If I'm waiting for that to justify all my efforts, I think realistically, to get your first deal in this, I think it's 3 to 6 months. I've been going at it for 2 months. First month is just trying to set up everything, and you go slow at the beginning, like anything, right? And the second month is actually trying to implement it. So the first month, I guess, is a combination of trying to implement everything. Now, if you want to go back another month, I spent a month just consuming information, all on YouTube, watching other people's videos, other people's stories. On one hand, I think they can be encouraging. On one hand, they can be discouraging. When you have the video of the person that, oh, they did it for a week and they got the first deal and they made $30,000. Yeah, that's cool, but that's not encouraging in the sense that most of us are probably going to take 3 to 6 months, I'm guessing, to get our first deal. And it makes sense. When you look at stuff, the extremes are not a good way of making decisions. You imagine a bell curve, right? You want to go with the center, the average, the median. What on average does it take to get a deal? And a statistic I heard, it takes 3,000 cold calls, but I assume you can't just call just any number. It has to be the right list. 500 driving for dollars, which I have about 300 right now. So I need to get that number up. 4,000 texts. So, and I got this from Zach and Rick. They have really a lot of information online. So shout out to them, kudos to them, because I have consumed a lot of their videos, and they're very informative. They really are. So anyhow, that's kind of how I'm basing my strategy. I need to at least get those numbers in. I've done I want to say 1,000 cold calls, and texts. I'm about 1,000 texts. Driving for dollars, I have about 300 properties that I picked up. And I've done some mailers. They didn't talk about mailers. Mailers, I have about 300 things that have gone out. So I've done some stuff, not the levels that you're supposed to have it, but ultimately something's going to hit. The mailers are really expensive. It adds up. You're thinking, 60, 80 cents per postcard. It's not a lot of money. You mail out 300 of them, and you start feeling it. You're like, wow, this is a lot. So anyways, I'm going to wrap it up, because right now my channel's maxed out at 15-minute videos. So, well, let me verify. It says I have another verified account, so I don't know. All right. Hope, once again, you guys find this helpful. I know I am.